Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another one. Hey, Pistol,
This,
wide receiver, hit my line. Hit my line.
what is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Dan goes out, and now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not gonna make the adjustments of the coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed, and it's a mental. I mean,
Disclaimer: he might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's gonna say, but the way he's starting off this video, it is giving me them vibes. What's up, J Wall Sports fans? Welcome back to another episode.
another one.
You already see the Rim Pride is going on in the building, and that's on 1892.
You feel me?
Yes, sir. On 1892, we got another exciting episode, man. It's been a little minute for us this week, but back into the lab we are, and we're gonna start things off with the Hawks versus the 76ers. The Hawks win back-to-back games this week, including a 20-point fourth quarter comeback in Game 5. Trae Young led the way in both games. Game 4, he had 25 points and 18 assists, while in Game 5, he had 39 points on 10 of 23 shooting. Nyshawn, how impressed are you by Trae Young's performance in this series?
Hey man, I'm very impressed. His first year in the playoffs, a lot of players on our Hawks team first year in the playoffs, and to have such a young leader lead them, they a game away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's almost like they overachieving right now. Like, yes, we expected them to have this great team, but they battling right now with some dogs, and they're getting it done. Trae Young has been averaging 29 points and 10 assists so far this postseason. And, usually when players come into the postseason for the first time, they may struggle, they may ball out, and they end up losing the series. But these last two games, put the A on his back and getting the job done. And I'm glad you said, he led his team back in those wins, especially Game 5 when they're down over 20 points. Because we as the media, we always talk about how they blew the lead, but we don't talk about how Atlanta came back and fought and stole the game on the home court. So that was very impressive. But I'm really impressed with how he's been playing. 29-10 first year in the playoffs, and still can improve on that. Just
Right.
dropped 39, but this is very impressive. Like I said, overachieving, and I like it.
I sort of disagree with you, man. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say I'm very impressed with how he's playing, because it's Trae Young, and we've been seeing the growth over the past few years and everything he's been doing to prepare himself for this stage right here. But I will say I'm very impressed on how he's handling himself in this series in his third year. Like, we gotta think about it. 3 years ago, we heard that Trae Young and Luka Doncic were going to be swapped, in the draft. Luka was going from Atlanta to Dallas, and Trae was going from Dallas to Atlanta, and we've been comparing them this, since that day began. When they first competed against each other, Luka versus Trae Young, they were traded for each other on draft night. Who who will prove that their team made the better trade on the end. And for a while, Luka was, looking like he was the better, trade for, that Atlanta got for him. But now Trae Young got his team, one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. He's been performing out of his mind. He's shooting 42% from the field, 32% from three. He's averaging 10.8 assists, 29.6 points per game, and he's only averaging 3 turnovers a game in this series. He's really performing out of his mind, man, and he's leading his team very well. And only in game 4 did he shoot below 37% from the field. Only in game 4. He's really, moving mountains to, for his legacy.
I agree with you, but there were some ifs on if he could do it in the playoffs. That's why I said I was very impressed, because he hit very well, came into the New York series and folded and have another player step up. But nah, he knew he was leader of his team. He knew what he needed to get done. That's why I said I was very impressed with how he's been performing so far this postseason in this series. But moving on to the next topic, the Nets and the Bucks. Game 4 between the Nets and the Bucks should have been called the Kevin Durant show, because he was on fire. I really thought, I was had to call the fire department, come put the boy out.
Right.
No Kyrie Irving due to ankle injury. A hobbled James Harden. 0 minutes of rest. 49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists to give his team a 3-2 lead in the series. After the game, Giannis was asked if he would like to guard KD more in Game 6, and he said he wanted that assignment if his coach allowed it. Although he didn't keep his word for Game 6, the Bucks bit 3 of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday combined for 89 of the 104 points the Bucks put up in Game 6 to force a Game 7. With Game 7 coming up, whose legacy is going to be impacted more if they take an early exit?
First, I want to point out that 89 points by the Bucks Big 3 matched the Nets' 89 points in Game 6. That's how prolific that offense was tonight. But it's got to be Giannis, man. Giannis has the accolades of a player who should at least have been in a conference finals or 2 by now. How are you the 2-time, NBA MVP, regular season MVP, and you win the Defensive Player of the Year in the same year you won your second MVP, and you're not at least in a conference finals yet? It makes me question, those accolades. Not to saying that he didn't play well in those seasons that like he won the award in, but does he deserve those awards? Usually when we get an MVP, we don't question, did they deserve that award at all? They go on into the playoffs to perform very well, take their team deep into the playoffs, and we look at them very, very well, and we're like, yeah, they deserve that. Yeah, we see why you are the MVP. We see why you are the reigning defensive player of the year. But with Giannis, we have to question his accolades. And I even took the time and I went back and I looked at a few, former MVPs to see, if we ever had to question him. First person I looked at was Stephen Curry, 2 times final MVP, 3-time NBA champion, and he went to the finals 5 years in a row. Even if we take out those seasons with Kevin Durant, those 3 years he had with Kevin Durant, he still has the MVP. He still has a 3-1 comeback on his record in the conference finals, and he has an NBA championship on his record without KD. We go and we look at LeBron James, 4-time MVP, 4 times final MVP, 4 times NBA champion, and he went to the championship game 8 years in a row. We never since Even when he got his first MVP in 2009, we did not question it because we was like, we could see from that moment what kind of player LeBron James was and how he was going to impact any team that he was going to be on. I even look back and I looked at Allen Iverson, one-time MVP recipient, been to a conference finals, went to the finals, and we no at not one point do we ever look back and question, did he deserve that MVP award? I mean, if you go back and you look at all the MVP recipients from 2017 and down, because we do have, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, who they've made it to conference finals, but they haven't made it to finals yet. So I can't really compare them to Giannis. But we look at everybody from 2017 and down, we know the legend of each and every one of those players and why they deserve the award when the year they got it. We didn't have to think about it 2 and 3 years later from now and be like, man, did they really deserve that award? I mean, we can go back and we can think, what was his name? Steve Nash. We can think about Steve Nash's, 2 MVPs when he won over Kobe when he was averaging 30. We can think about that one, and be like, man, did he deserve it? And we can still say, yeah, because he was playing unbelievable that year. He led his team to a very high seed in the West. So we can say he deserved it. But with Giannis, man, I'm questioning.
I feel the same way, and you really took everything I had to say. I mean, plain and simple, does he want to be known as one of the great players who can never get over the hump and never win a ring? Or are you going to change that narrative about yourself? Because it's going to be the 3rd year in a row that you haven't gotten to the conference finals and had phenomenal regular seasons. And when it comes to the postseason, you turn into Casper and don't get the job done. Yeah, that's how he probably looking going in Game 7, taking a deep swallow. Like, my legacy's on the line. Like you said, 2-time MVP and defensive player that second year, along with the MVP on top. Do you want it? He proved it tonight, but Game 7 is definitely going to be the test.
I agree. He proved why he was an MVP. Very, very good performance tonight. I want to point out right here. Did you see how many threes he took tonight? My point exactly. I understood why he was taking threes, last year and the year before that, because he had to make the defense honest. But you see how well this team functioned when he didn't have to shoot threes or when he didn't try to make a team step out on him. I mean, you're 7 feet. Let's use that to, his advantage, and I feel like that would make him, us not question. I think that's also part of it. Coaching is a very, big thing, and part of it. I don't think that Mike, I'm not gonna try to butcher his last name. Yeah, there we go. Mike, I'm not gonna, he's really just giving Giannis the ball and just being like, yo, man, it's your world. They almost have like an ISO game kind of offense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you think about it. I mean, they had just as many assists tonight as the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets was really all ISO ball tonight. It's either Giannis take somebody one-on-one, Chris Middleton take somebody one-on-one, or Jrue Holiday take somebody one-on-one. Sometimes they'll move the ball and they'll get some decent offense going, but more than not, it's Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo doing the boatload of the scoring for them. They need to find a way for, Giannis to, get some banana curls to the basket, like how the Lakers run that screen in the corner, and either AD dives to the basket or whatever guard sets that screen is wide open for the 3 in the corner. Those little things are what's going to make it more difficult for teams to, don't look at me like that, more difficult for teams to guard them if they keep mixing up, the offense and how Giannis scored. Like, look at my man's in New Orleans. Look at Zion. Zion plays on the ball and he plays off the ball, which was Stan Van Gundy's offense, and that helped make it a little bit harder for defenses to guard him, even though they know Zion was going to do a big boatload of the scoring in the paint.
You're right, but will Giannis stand the test of time? Game 7. We'll see.
If Giannis don't guard KD, I want that defensive player of the year stripped from him.
I agree. Step up. I'll go home.
Right. Exactly. Like this is when they go home. If you're not gonna guard the best player, then I can't call you the best player. You running from that smoke. That's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Period.
All right, man. Moving on. The Jazz and the Clippers, man. Exciting series. The Clippers win 3 games in a row against the Jazz, man. And game 4, Kawhi and Paul George came alive, scoring 62 of the Clippers' 118 points. After game 4, the Clippers announced that Kawhi Leonard would not be with the team in game 5 due to a knee sprain in his knee. And many people were believing that the series would be over. A lot of analysts were coming in and speculating that knee sprain is an underlying term for a slight meniscus tear, but because of the swelling, it's hard to tell with MRIs and X-rays. So they have to wait for the swelling to go down and then reevaluate him. But Paul George and the Clippers, even though everybody else had them losing, they had other plans, and they held the Jazz to 46 points in the second half of game 6. What grade would you give Paul George in this series so far?
A+. He's looking like he's finally found his groove. He's comfortable within the offense. Last year you had the whole pandemic, everything being shut down and going back into the bubble. A lot of mental problems a lot of players struggle with. So coming to this new season, he's been hooping. Kind of inconsistent, or people say inconsistent because he wasn't putting up the numbers we want him to produce, but he's been hooping so far in this series. And in these last 2 games, he had 31 points in 2 of those games and 37 in game 5. So he's been hooping. He's been doing what he needs to do, especially in game 5 with Kawhi being out. They needed Paul George to step up. He stepped a bit with 37 points, 16 rebounds, and he just looks good. He looks like he's found his new form. I don't know what happened, that terrible injury a couple years ago, and then being traded a couple times. I think he's found his groove. He's back home in LA, and in the games they have won so far in this playoff series, in the playoffs season so far, in the 7 games they have won, he has averaged 27 points and 9 rebounds. So I think that's really good for him to keep putting up those 30 plus numbers, or close to 30 numbers, 30 points.
Right. Hey, so, man,
A+.
I agree with you, man. I took it a little bit further. I said he gets an A+++ because he's been playing. I gotta say, out of his mind, because we ain't seen this kind of performance in a minute now.
Ain't no pandemic P no more.
Hey, yeah, just like DJ Michi said, I'm vaccinated now. Hey, man, but yeah, I gave him an A++, man. He's shooting 43% from the field, 40% from 3. He's averaging 9.6 rebounds, it's 3.8 turnovers a game, and 29.2 points per game in this series against the Jazz, man. And I want you to take a guess, man. When is the last time in a playoff year that we've seen this kind of performance from Paul George in a series?
2014.
a very good guess, my friend, but you were wrong, man. It was 2016 against the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. They did lose that game, but my man was shooting 40% from the field, and he was shooting 40% plus from three. So it's been a minute, Paul George. Welcome back.
That must have been his last year.
I think it was
with Indy.
because I'm pretty sure. I think he left. He left when LeBron left. Or did he leave when LeBron left? Nah, I'm tripping. LeBron stayed for 2 more years.
You're tweaking.
Hey, it's been a long week.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Paul George said it's been an easy week for him. 31 points in games 3 and 4, and 37 in game 5.
Yeah. Man, let's pivot a little and talk about his counterpartner Kawhi. Man, you think it's just a little nag injury, or you think it's something more?
Hey, they say ACL, man. So I don't know. It might be a slight tear, it might be a tear, but some players never fully recover from these knee injuries and stuff nowadays, man. And coming in off a short season, LeBron talked about the other day on Twitter how most of these star players and players that were in the bubble are now out. And you can go back to the episode of me, you, Ruff, and Keith, and talk about how Nikola Jokic was basically the only player this year that played all 72 games. So it's taking a toll on these players' bodies, man.
Right. And I think Nikola Jokic is really based off of, how much weight he lost over quarantine. That I think if he would have been the same weight that he was before quarantine, I think we would have seen, his body, take that wear and tear. But, if, and I'm gonna knock on wood, if it ends up being an ACL tear or a partial torn ACL, which you can't play on anything partial torn in the ACL, MCL area, the NBA is really going to have to look back and rethink, this whole, shortened season. And I would like them to rethink, the whole 82 not playoff games, but 82 regular season games. And we cut that down to 72 so we don't have any more back-to-backs.
That, and I also like to see them go back to a different playoff style, like Jordan Dem era. First round was best out of 3. Second round was 2-5. Conference finals and finals were 7.
Well, I don't think they'll do that because the reason for them increasing the amount of games in the series was because of money. And so I don't think they're already losing, they're already losing, 10 games worth of money because they're going to shorten the season to 72 games. If they would shorten the season to 72 games, then I could see, the play-in tournament being a little bit bigger to sort of make up for it in those revenue value. So I'm not saying that the play-in tournament will have more games because that's not the goal for it. The goal was to try to get less games on these players' legs and their body. I wouldn't say, that, but I'd say, the value of those games would increase. And so the value of those games would increase. The revenue, would be slightly made up for certain teams. Because you got to think about it. If you're the 10th seed and you beat the 9th seed, you got to beat the 9th seed twice. Then you got to go on to beat the 8th seed twice. That's 4 games for you, So now you sort of make up that, a portion of that money loss.
But that's not going to happen, though. And majority of these cases, that 10 seed got to be phenomenal for 4 straight games.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it.
It sounded really good from a
Oh yeah. It
political
sounds good.
standpoint. But, we'll see, man. And that Clippers series, I think Mike Conley got to come back, man. Even if he's not 100, they need him.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next topic, NBA awards. So earlier this year, Lamarck and I had a segment called the Halfway Awards, where we predicted who would take home the most valuable player, Rookie of the Year, most improved player, and the Coach of the Year. And now we go back and look at our predictions and see who was right, because we got the segment called Stop the Cap. So let's go ahead and see what's popping. So first, we're going to talk about the Rookie of the Year. LaMelo Ball won the Rookie of the Year for the Charlotte Hornets. Me and Lamarck both predicted LaMelo Ball won the Rookie of the Year. On the season, he averaged 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. And when it came down to the voting, give me 1 second. LaMelo Ball had 84 first place votes compared to Anthony Edwards' 15. So neither one of us capped that round. So I'd just love to say,
yes, sir.
Hats off to him,
Hey, man. LaMelo, I don't know if you're going to see this or not, but congratulations, big dog. I called it on day one of the NBA this year. I came on the show and I said LaMelo Ball will be the 2020-2021 NBA Rookie of the Year. I called it on the Halfway Awards. I was nervous that when you was out, with the wrist injury, I was worried you weren't going to get it. It's the first of many, man. It's the first of many for you. Congratulations.
Congrats, my boy. Hey, we in North Carolina. We need some tickets. That's all I'm going to say.
No. I don't want no tickets right now. I want an interview. Pop in for an interview.
Hey, we can do the interview at the stadium, big dog. Come on now.
You're right. We can't do the interview at the stadium.
Come on now. Shoot, ain't gonna be no ESPN. It's gonna be J-Wall Sports Production down there.
Yes, sir. All right. So next we will talk about who got that most improved player award. And that will be the man himself, Julius Randle. Averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 41% from downtown, man. I capped on this one.
I did too.
Cap. No pun intended. I said it was gonna be LaMelo Ball, man. Now Sean, like he said, he capped too, but this prediction
Lonzo Ball.
Your prediction did not age well. You said Jaylen Brown.
You said LaMelo, but you meant Lonzo.
Oh, Lonzo.
Can't be most improved in Rookie of the Year, but
he get most improved next year. He get most improved next year.
All right.
Yeah, but your prediction didn't age well, man. Talk to us about that.
The way it's looking, man. Don't make me flip the screen now. But Julius Randle had 98 first place votes. And the person that came in second was Jeremy Grant of the Detroit Pistons. He had 2 first place votes. But Jaylen Brown was 5th. Lonzo was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He was down towards the bottom. That's all I'm going to say.
They did my boy Lonzo like that?
Jaylen Brown got, at least 1 second place vote. Lonzo got 0. He didn't get a vote until 3rd place. Jaylen Brown had a total of 10 points in the most improved. So I capped, but my cap wasn't as big as your cap.
Okay. That's really wowing.
Hey man, same man. It be like that sometimes. But hey, shout out to Julius Randle. He worked really hard this all season, and it showed in the regular season. Unfortunately, things don't turn out the way as he always want them, but he was deserving of the award.
For sure.
And moving on to the coach of the year, his homeboy, his coach, who was getting his team right, Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year of the New York Knicks, leading to their first playoff berth since 2013. And they finished the regular season with a record of 41-31. And when it came down to the coaches voting, let's see what they was talking about. Tom Thibodeau got 43 first place votes. Now, Monty Williams had 45 first place votes, but Tom Thibodeau had more second place votes. Total votes, total points they had, Tom Thibodeau had 251 and Monty Williams had 240. It was a really close race, but Coach Tibbs put it off.
And I like how it was very, very close, but like we both predicted, I think Tibbs rightfully should have won. Got us into a playoff berth for the first time since 2013. It's a long time, man. And he did it without a superstar. I wouldn't put Julius Randle in that superstar role yet. He most definitely was an all-star this year, well-deserving of it, but I don't think he's a superstar yet. So he did it without a superstar. Monty Williams needed a Hall of Fame player to come in, and a veteran player in Jay Crowder to come in and put this team over the hump to get the first place in the West. But yeah, Tom Thibodeau, congratulations, man. Well deserved.
Yes, sir.
All right. So moving on to the big man from France, Rudy Gobert.
Exactly.
Rudy Gobert received Defensive Player of the Year award. He's been showing why he deserved it this series. He had that big block in Game 1. So congratulations to you, Rudy. I hope you guys pull it out.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, man.
Right, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's on the very, very short list.
Shout out to you. And
yeah.
Me personally, I'm rooting for Utah, man. I want to see D Mitch in the finals, Western Conference Finals, against Devin Booker. So, Rudy, I'm
versus Devin Booker. But look, this is what I'm stuck on: Donovan Mitchell versus Devin Booker, or Chris Paul versus the Clippers.
That's tough, though.
Especially you still got Pat Beverly on that team, and Patrick Beverly will guard Chris Paul. And they was teammates at one.
Oh, they got PG. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Ooh, PG on Devin Booker. Devin Booker on PG.
Hey, either way, the ratings going up though.
Hey, either way, my eyes is gonna be glued to the TV.
Yes, sir. That's gonna be a hell of a conference finals.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, the postseason's still going. We still had to get to the conference finals out to the East. Tonight's games, the first game was between the Hawks and the 76ers. The Hawks are 3-2, with Game 6 on the line. Who's taking this game and why?
Whew, man. Tough, man. It depends on which other player steps up and how they impact the game. Steph Curry, career high, in playoff points. He went stupid in this game, and they lost. The Hawks came back from down 20 in the fourth quarter and went crazy, man. Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris have been pretty consistent all series, minus Game 5 for Tobias Harris, who had 8 points. Ben Simmons, man, he's he's killing me. I ain't even a Sixers fan, and he's killing me, man. Like in game 5, he had 11 points. In game 4, he had 18 points. In game 3, I'm sorry. In game 5, he had 11 points. In game 4, he had 18. In game 3, he had a low amount of points and they won. In game 4, he scored 2 points and they won. In game 3, they scored 3 points and he won. And then in game 1, he scored 17 points. Like, bro, what are you doing? Where is the consistency? Like, I can see, I average, 9, 10 points in this series right now. At least you give me something consistent to go off on.
He's consistently inconsistent.
And that is not good enough. And if it really boiled down to it, we're going to play Hacker Simmons. We're going to put you on the line where you don't even like to. You don't even like to be on the line. I heard a rumor that he don't even practice on free throws, man. He terrible at free throws and he doesn't even practice on them.
I can tell.
Right. I mean, at least we look at some of the worst free throw shooters over the year. At least some of them have gotten better. Let's look at what's my man? Not Ben Simmons, but Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond, when he first came into the league, terrible free throw shooting. He came to the Lakers. You could tell that he worked on his free throws. Me and you talked about this when the trade first went down and how free throws was going to be one big thing that we were going to like really be looking at for him. Let's look at Giannis. Giannis, yes, he's still a terrible free throw shooter, but we can see he's gotten better.
You got to work on that timing.
Right.
15, 20 seconds to shoot it.
Giannis from 3 years ago, free throw shooting to Giannis now, completely different person on the line. 10 times better. Like, you can't tell me you can't get – look at Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard got better from the free throw line, and he was abysmal from the line. You can't tell me that you can't get better from the free throw line, and for that reason, Hawks in 6, baby.
Wow. Man, I really rooting for the Hawks, but I don't see the 76ers playing bad again. But Doc Rivers, coach of the Clippers last year, they made no adjustments. Man, I ain't seen no adjustments last 2 games they lost.
Hey, man. You're not even lying, bro. Not even lying.
And I feel like
don't get the nickname Mr. No Adjustments.
And I feel like history might repeat itself. And the crazy thing in game 5, second half, Joel Embiid and Steph Curry, the only people that actually make a basket in the second half.
Right.
For the entire team. And yes, I do believe other people would step up, but I don't know, man. My heart just telling me to go with the Hawks, man. It's Hotlanta, man. See y'all on that. They going to the A.
Exactly. That's another reason I'm going with the Hawks, man. They are at home. And you gotta think about it. Every game that the Sixers don't take care of business is more like chemistry for that Hawks team. You know, when you are battle tested with a team, it just makes y'all go from like this close together to like now y'all like this. Like y'all are intertwined with each other. Y'all know each other inside and outside, especially when you go through, hell and back with a team. And that performance that they had last night, hell and back, man. From down 20,
they were down 26 in one
quarter.
Point.
Right. You were down 20 plus in 1 quarter. So you made that comeback in 12 minutes. Man, they gotta, and you gotta think about it. The only team that has something to lose in this series is the Sixers. Look at how the Hawks started. The Hawks were like a 12 seed. They weren't even in play-in contention. They went from out of play-in contention to play-in contention to not in play-in contention anymore because we are the 6th seed all the way to what are they now? The 5th or the 4th seed?
5th.
5th, yeah, they're the 5th seed. Like you went from 12 to 5. Nobody expected you to go from 12 to 5. We all expected you to play really good this year. We expected that the Hawks are going to be a sleeper team in the playoff. But 12 to 5, you already won. You already won.
For real.
Yeah.
And they got that man Trey. And they got that man Trae Young, boy.
Boy, automatic, boy. But yeah. Bro, when he get like this is his signature move. This is like untucked Kyrie for him.
For real.
All right, so moving on, man. The Jazz versus the Clippers. My fault, people. I lost my spot. The Clippers at one point were down 2-0 in the series, and they are now up 3-2, winning 3 games in a row, and even winning Game 5 without Kawhi Leonard. Who will take home? Who will win Game 6 and why?
Oh man. I don't know, man. I got a pin on this one. If Mike Conley plays, I might lean towards the Jazz. I haven't heard any news yet, but the Clippers look hot. Multiple players in double figures the last game. Paul George almost had a 40-piece McNugget on him. Donovan Mitchell is not 100% right now, and you can tell that he's not 100%, that he's doing a lot to try to keep his team in the game, and they don't have the other pieces surrounding him to carry that load. And I feel like Mike Conley will take a lot of that load off of Donovan Mitchell. But I don't know if he's playing, so I got a pin in it. If he... That's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Chill out, Becca. I'm gonna start singing. I'm gonna lose focus. I'm gonna take the Clippers. My heart is gonna root for Utah, but I got the Clippers.
Man, I feel your pain. This is so tough, man. I really thought it was over with Game 5 when Kawhi was out. I thought the Jazz would be too much for the Clippers. But, man, that Reggie Jackson stepped up big time, and he's been stepping up since Game 7 with the Mavs. Marcus Morris been there all season, stepped up big for them tonight. Paul George, he led the way like a leader should, and this is the Paul George I've been expecting to see. This is almost 2014 Indiana Pacers Paul George kind of vibes that I'm getting from
Dunk on Birdman vibes.
Right. Hey, look, and we clowned on him when he said, I got my trainer back from when I was not MVP, but what was it when he said he got his old trainer back from when he was at Indiana. There we go. He got his old trainer back from when he was at Indiana. He was finna, go stupid, and we was like, ha, shut up, PJ 13%.
Sound good.
Right, and he and like I said, I he's got to prove it to me. I'm not just gonna take your word on, since you got your trainer back from since you were in Indiana, like, that I'm just supposed to forget, what happened, in the bubble, what happened in 2019, what happened in 2018. I can't just forget those things. So that was very, very, very impressed by him. But I don't think they can do it 2 games in a row, man. This team was a number 1 seed for a reason, although I don't think this team can win a championship with, what's on their roster. With the collective of players that they have, I don't think that Mike Conley for this series will cause them to lose. Not having Mike Conley in this series will cause them to lose 4 games in a row. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 games in a row. I don't see it, man. I don't see them dropping 4 games in a row. I can't see them dropping 4 games in a row.
Time will tell.
Yeah, man. Time will tell. So the last one, man. The Bucks and the Nets face off in Game 7. Sudden death. And let's flash back a little. The last time we seen the Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals was when the Sixers went down with the shot that hit everything on the rim and fell in. And we seen Kawhi Leonard show the most emotion we have ever seen from Kawhi Leonard.
In his whole career. Not NBA career, but his whole career.
His entire career, from high school to college to the pros. All right, man. Bucks versus Nets, Game 7, winner go home. Who's going to win?
Come back next time the episode of J Wall Sports. We have the answer for you. All right, ready?
Nah.
And we out.
You got to answer right now. Nets or Bucks?
I got the Nets.
Tell us why.
So I don't see the Nets playing bad back-to-back games, especially with the game on the line. I do believe James Harden should be a little bit looser with the hamstring injury. It was really hard for him to keep the pace going. They created turnovers and weren't able to get out because the hamstring was like, hey, buddy, slow down. But I just don't trust Giannis. And I'm not going to root for him. Because he hasn't proved it to me yet.
I hear you wholeheartedly. The Bucks are going to win if Kyrie does not play. Even if he's not 100%, having him on the floor will open up the floor and allow KD to have the spacing that he needs to carry this Nets team to the next round. Like in Game 5 when James Harden came back and he wasn't 100% and it was very visible. But having him on the floor, the Bucks have to respect him for his name, his body of work, and knowing that he can go off at any time. That helped KD, be able to move without the ball and opened up, like I said, the spacing for him on the floor so he could go to work and so he could put up a 49-piece McNuggets. That's because the McDonald's worker ate one of his nuggets before giving it to him. They was fouled for that. Let them only 49. If Kyrie is not playing, I got the Bucks winning because now Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton are not exerting so much effort on defense to keep Kyrie and James Harden from going off also. And lastly, I want to give PJ Tucker his props, man. Yo, PJ, that boy from Raleigh. Bull City, yes, sir. Hey, shout out to you, bro.
I thought that was Durham.
Raleigh, Durham. It's all, hey, Bull City.
Oh, we.
Hey, man, the Raleigh Durham area. They like
They cousins.
No. They're like stepbrothers. Hey man, but yeah, he's making it very difficult for Kevin Durant to score in this series. And I want to talk about this. In game 5, KD scored 30 points and he did it on 30 shots. That is not efficient. And I've been having a very heated debate with my producer from North Carolina Central about KD and him not being efficient. So, Calvin, this one is especially for you right here. So, in this series, Kevin Durant, he's made 75 shots and he's taken 149 shots. Granted that he is shooting 50%, he is too elite of a player for him to take 149 shots and only score 200 points. For instance, let's look at Kawhi Leonard in the Mavs series. Kawhi Leonard scored 225 points. He made 82 shots and he took 134 shots. And he was shooting 60%. What are they in? They're about to go to a game 7. So Kawhi played one more game than KD has played right now, made 25 more points on what is this? On 66 less shots. What KD is doing is not efficient. What PJ Tucker is doing is making it difficult for KD to score 30. And this is why, if Kyrie don't play, I got the Bucks. You can't score 30 points on 30 shots. No, man. Not going to do it for you.
I'm a little surprised you're going against your ISO game, man.
Hey, man, I rock so hard with ISO game too. I told you that was going to be that's my call tone, bro. I made it happen. If you call me right now, all you going to hear is ISO game. And then my boy KD, he going to come in, he will start going crazy, but
hey, man. They can't guard him because he's 7 feet tall. Boy got slapped in the face.
Right. Hey. James Harden, he had all the juries on him. He waited, but that leg can't hold that weight, man. I don't know how he did play good tonight, though. He had 17 points, but man, I'm not 100% sure. Without Kyrie, I don't think the space will be there for them to do their thing.
Like I said tonight, man, time will tell. Time will tell,
man. But, man, that's all we got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning into another episode. And
show.
Keep following us on Instagram. Yeah, not yet. Keep following us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. We will be posting on there a bunch. We got highlights coming out pretty soon. We elevating. We doing our thing. Where the thing at? The notification thing. Somewhere up there, man. I be looking for it. Somewhere up there. But hey, man, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Keep liking, subscribing, commenting on everything we got, and we out.
Yo, love y'all.
Peace, love y'all.